Maningwan. Okay, Janet.
Okay, my first one is a legal update.
John.
Janet, we don't really have anything since 2 weeks ago when we did the last update. There have been significant developments in many cases. We're waiting decisions.
And my next question is about financing. And what are we going to do with Jerry Campbell, who is in bankruptcy, since he is part of that process? What are we going to do?
So it will not have a material effect on the project. One of the things that that we did a couple of years ago was to ask for a financial disclosure for each of the developers. That kind of changed. That I think in some ways that kind of empowered them to, because it flip-flopped on who had what authority and what equity. And so the good news is that they've already kind of gone through that, and they have the responsibility as the developer to meet the obligations of the development agreement, regardless if any one of their subordinate partners has any issues or challenges. So we are assured that they are going to be able to deal with one of their partners and their developers and make up the difference. So it will not have a material effect on the project. It's not intended to have a material effect on the project.
Okay, and then my next one is Indian Energy. We have an update today. What's going on?
So the couple points of information they shared upon being pressed by, where's Betty? Their balance that they have in real capital is about $10,000. 9,000. Well, it was 9,000 something. So, and they have a prospect that is, they believe is going to come to fruition by this Thursday, and so we had actually quite a lengthy discussion about the whole thing. And while we can question the wisdom of whether or not we should have gotten into the deal in the first place, the deal is very specific, and their deliverables, they have not missed any of their deliverables. They weren't intended to turn a profit for at least 8 years, and I think we're only 6 years in. So we've already spent what we spent, and at this point we have to ultimately wait to see if we're going to get a return on our investment. So there's nothing really that we have to do to, we're not being asked to infuse capital, anything like that. So one thing that did come up was a request to have them write up a report for the benefit of the membership so that they understand where they're at. And it's not something that we can order because we are not owners of that company. We're not even majority shareholders, but they did agree to do it. They felt that it was a good idea for them to do it, so I think that will happen. DJ, did you have a comment?
I would like to see the actual written agreement. I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
The contract.
Well, that was basically my question, because I'm hoping that, it has been a long time since Indian Energy has been in front of the board. So I was just hoping that maybe they can do a little more.
They have an annual meeting requirement that they fulfill, and they do a monthly report to the board as well.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Helen.
I'm gonna sit if that's okay with everybody.
It is.
I just have a couple questions. I have a couple questions. I don't expect an answer here, but I would like a couple things in writing. I attached to my request an old request that I haven't heard back from everything yet. I didn't get the exact information back yet from November. And that's my first request, is on that attachment.
Yeah, I'm reading through it, and I would take issue with the way that you apparently understood what you heard from the meeting.
That's why I requested the minutes from that meeting.
Well, they won't be in the minutes.
Okay.
We don't keep verbatim minutes. So if maybe Joanne has
I
notes.
didn't get the minutes, and it wasn't in here.
Well, yeah, because we don't keep verbatim minutes. But the one issue that you identified was that I stated that we don't have to follow tribal preference. I've never stated that. I don't. The minutes are the tape. I think you can even get access to the tape.
Okay.
You'll never find, and there isn't anybody that supports and believes in Indian preference any more than me. So I don't understand where that would come from. If you can help refresh my memory on that, you don't have to do it now, but you won't find that in any minutes or any record because I've never said that. So I'm not sure what you understood.
It was at the Hessel meeting in November.
Yeah, I can't even imagine a circumstance where it would say anything remotely like that. So, however, if it's in any notes that Joanne has, we'll go back and look for it.
I don't know what you're talking about, so I don't see that.
Or the video, do we archive the videos? So we can get you a copy of that
There was
one?
a lot of technical issues during that meeting, and so I had a hard time finding that meeting.
Oh, well, we'll just have Russ send you the link to that one in particular.
And I probably should have audio backup too.
Okay, then I think we only were able to do audio that night.
I think
there
there
was
was
technical
no problem.
There was no live stream,
Oh.
there was technical issues, that's why I was trying to find it.
So, however, what I will do is we will send you a response with a copy of Indian preference, and I'll write to you what I believe Indian preference is. I think I have a more strict view of it than most people, so I'm glad to provide that and document
That was the
that.
meeting where my paperwork got locked, had to wait until later on and accepted to let me speak later.
Oh yeah, okay. And then the other one was a promotion policy. We don't have a promotion policy.
We do, I got it, and I did receive that part in writing, I just wanted to,
It's not really a promotion policy. The board enacted a promotion policy sometime after I left office, and they followed it. It was implemented for probably about 6 months, and then they saw the folly of it. Because a promotion policy, while it's beneficial for the people who are internal, it disadvantages and potentially discriminates against any tribal members who are not already employed. And so the board rescinded that promotion policy. There's language in there where you can apply for a job, but it's not really a promotion policy because you have to apply for the job. It's not a promotion. So that's my understanding of it. DJ.
I don't see the list, but there's an internal posting policy which is no different than internal promotion policy technically. If you post it in your department, you can.
They rescinded it.
No, I'm saying there is.
Can you have her give me a copy?
It is.
So then I guess if it wasn't, because I was told it was rescinded. I was told we created it and then rescinded it between the 2008 and 2012 time period. But I also will tell you that the board has insisted that all positions be posted. So a promotion policy per se. All right, so let's real quick.
Promotion.
Can Brenda speak to this, whether it is or isn't, if we did rescind it, or what is our standard?
Okay, so this is an old copy of an
It's
old.
still on the internet as
So that needs to be pulled.
as correct, and it's still in our manuals and being handed out as of last week,
That's a
as
good point.
an updated current policy.
So let's go check
It
that.
was actually on one of your agendas a couple weeks ago to be rescinded, and it was tabled.
Because it was already rescinded.
The transfer policy, again, the position has to be
Oh, you got
posted.
copies.
You have to apply for
You
the
brought
position.
copies. Same
You have
thing.
to interview
Yeah.
and then selected for the position to get the actual promotion.
I think you got
Or
several
what you would
copies.
consider a promotion.
Yeah, it's the internal posting policy. So if you have a department of 5 and you post a job internally, and someone applies for it,
Is it different?
for all purposes, it's an internal promotion. It's an internal posting, but
These
really
are-
you only
one's
had
a policy, one's a
5
procedure.
applicants.
It's not dated, but it's the one that's currently posted on the
You
internet.
can pull it off the internet today.
We have gotten notification that we need to go back and look at all the forms. There are some forms on there as well that have been updated as well. So we're going to be changing the forms, the latest forms, and we're going to take the latest policy on there as well. Most
Okay, because it's still being handed out in the team member manual as of last week.
The team member manuals are still existent until we remove them from the actual policy, they can't be taken from the manual. So that's just a process that we need to take care of. Again, there is no promotion policy. You can apply for it under the transfer policy. The transfer policy says that you can apply for any position in which you need minimum qualifications. You can be interviewed, and if you're selected, you can then go to the position. Whether it's in the same department or whether it's in an exterior department.
Okay, so I guess with my thing then, I would like to see that resolution of that policy and when it was rescinded.
Okay.
If you could add it to my request, please, that I would like that, a copy of that.
We can certainly specify the actual resolution.
That's what I mean, yeah, I would like a copy of the full resolution of when it was rescinded.
Okay. All right. And so just so we're clear, so we have a, now we're calling it transfer policy, and it's really, all it really is you still have to apply for it. So when you use terms like transfer or promotion, it sounds like somebody on high is making the decision. Yeah, and it's really not. It's really, it's an internal posting. You have to compete for the job. Other people get a chance at crack at it. So what I've directed is that certain level positions and higher have to be externally posted. And I've also started a practice of requiring them to be posted open until filled. Because sometimes when something is a professional job posted for 7 days, that seems like somebody's been targeted for it. And, and we don't like that. We want as many people to compete for it, tribal members to compete for it as possible. So whenever...
But then you lower it down, but then then you do, if you get 10 people, you lower it down to 4 or 5 anyways.
Well, we do screen because we aren't interviewing, and I know it's been said at this level that we interview everybody, and that's nonsense. There's no way we can interview 20 people for one position, and we don't do that as a practice. In fact, we had a CEO, an EDC position. We screen them down. We don't interview everybody that meets the minimum qualifications. So.
Right, and that's poses in that question. I still have never received from November the actual documentation that I was told I would get regarding the actual flow chart.
That's an HR would.
I never got that.
That would come from HR. So remember when we created the flow chart and streamlined the hiring process? That is what we need to provide a copy to. And if you can get it to Sheila, when we bundle everything, we'll send a letter out with everything with it.
Okay.
6
All right.
Yeah. And then,
Oh, man.
You had something on the budget for the recording of the meetings?
yeah, I just wanted to know where we are at getting, has there been a approved budget or anything yet for the live stream or new video equipment or recording?
Kind of. The Gaming Authority authorized the purchase of the equipment. And the newspaper had done some research on closed caption, and
That proposal's coming April 26th.
and it's coming to the board on April 26th. So we're halfway there. We got the equipment. I got to follow up to make sure it's being ordered. So you were supposed to send me a reminder. So, and make sure that we order it, because that's a big step. We ordered the equipment.
Yep, that's what I wanted to know. I knew that it was coming soon and that's what I wanted to know. Also then I wanted an update on the HR audit.
So this morning there was a discussion, but I wasn't present for it. So I think that it was moved to a more thorough discussion on Monday at 9. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Was there anything else that was?
Yeah, we're meeting next week to finalize it on Monday at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Who was meeting? The board?
Any board members?
Well, actually, board members who wanted to be on the work group that showed up.
Who's the work group? Oh, that's anybody who shows up.
It's actually, yeah.
Okay.
It's anybody who shows up from the board on Monday.
So if only one person shows up, is it that person going to be acceptable to put something together and get it approved?
Only one person's not gonna show up, number one. Number two, it's already approved and the chairman actually has the authority afterwards to take the materials and issue the RFP. There will be at least 3 people there that I know of. I will be there, Bridget will be there, Keith will be there, Kim will probably be there.
Great.
We are gonna need a budget mod,
Um,
so.
There's 5 committed people, and then anybody else that
well,
wants
that's a
to
whole
show up.
different thing.
Or the
Just as long, I just don't want you to deep. I don't want to get excited that it's actually moving somewhere and then it's stalled because nobody was able to attend them.
It's happening.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we have 2 other quick. We have 2 other quick ones, hopefully. Jackie, and then Betty, and then we have to start the meeting. Jackie and then Betty.
Well, I was gonna ask, I wanted an update on Indian Energy, and, I don't think that was really, well, didn't really make things real clear to me, and, like, what were our expectations? What were they supposed to accomplish? What's been completed? And I know there's $9,000 left. I know that they said they were going to a Navajo tribe to get some more funding on Thursday. But I would like to know, what were our expectations when we entered this with them? What's been met? And exactly, what was the timeline to meet all of these expectations? And, that's $2.5 million. That's a lot of money. I mean, that could pay for a whole bunch of services. And, I just think we need an update on it. I mean, like a real, I don't want just some generic thing that just, you're not really gonna understand. I wanna know, like, the guts of it. So that's...
So maybe one of the things we'll ask that they put in the report is what the proposal said that the deliverables would be. So I think that, I wasn't here, so I don't know, but I think that one of the deliverables was within 8 years, there would be a return on the investment. So I think that was the primary deliverable, and we're 6 years into it. So, but I think they probably would appreciate reporting that part of it.
Yeah, like I'd like to know how much we were supposed to get back.
Yeah, and when? How much and when?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was 10 years.
For some reason, 8's sticking into my head, but DJ.
I want to go back to what I said earlier. I don't know many who have seen it. I've never seen the actual agreement, so I couldn't tell you what we're supposed to expect back. I wouldn't have done it. But I wasn't here. But what I can say is now we're in it. So with $9,000 left, I think that the best we can do is hope that they do well. Because that's all we got. We got hope and $9 grand. So I'm gonna hope they do well, because I don't know how else to do
I
that.
would like to see the plan, just, because if it doesn't pan out, at least we will have, know not to do that again.
And I did ask this morning if I could show that at the workshop, and I guess we're getting that clarified, Aaron. I turned mine back in, but we're getting clarified what can be shown and what can't be.
Yeah, what we identified is, and it was actually from somebody who didn't support Indian Energy, wouldn't support it, is this is the deal that the board entered. We are an investor in it. We don't own the company. And so therefore we don't own the information. We get updates as shareholders, but we don't have the prerogative to publish that information. That's actually what led to then, well, can we have them do a report? So then they're the ones that are doing the release of the information and drafting it up. So I would say the answer is that we don't have the authority to release the information that they provided in the report, but it is to their advantage to tell us what the original proposal was, what they've delivered upon, how they're doing, because they're the ones that are going to write it. It's obviously going to be of a certain slant, obviously. So.
What about the original agreement with the board? Is that something that we can see?
I think so. If it was an attachment to a resolution, I think so. But I don't know, because it could have been that they authorized the chair and or delegee delegate to designee and delegate to negotiate and sign the final agreement. It might be that, and if that's the case, that's probably not releasable. But I think if there was an attachment to the resolution, that's probably can be released. So can you check to see?
Should be able to FOIA
Aaron?
And certainly DJ will get a copy.
Okay.
So, to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen a copy. I did look at one copy on the reporting requirements for the financials. I did look at that. Lena.
Who are you gonna have draft up the request with the specifics that, like Jackie has included in the request today? Okay, well,
We will have a letter out before the end of the week.
Good. Last time we did have Bill Conley drafted up, and he did write a letter and request a financial report that we hadn't
You
got.
did.
Okay,
That's when we researched the reporting requirement. That was about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you had another one.
Yeah. I see that resolution to give a loan of $500,000 in a revolving fund to the investors for Lansing was taken off the agenda last week. What's the solution that you came up with and what changed to it?
So let me clarify. The resolution that was put on the agenda was reviewed by the Gaming Expansion Committee. We were unified in what we requested. It seemed like it might have changed from then into what was actually, I don't know. I don't understand that. But we collectively, as the Gaming Expansion Committee, put the item on the agenda. And the item is that the developers were late in their payments. Okay, so we had not put up anything to loan them any money. So that's a misnomer. The resolution wasn't intended to loan them any money. What the resolution would have done is we have the debt for the work that was done. So our creditors, mostly it's a law firm that's doing assisting us with the process of applying to have this turned into trust. We owe that company a significant amount of money. We have a couple of other routine maintenance sort of things, and then we've got some coming down the road. So originally I was interested in $500,000 that we would pay in advance, but the developers, we have a development agreement, they still owe the money, and we're gonna hold them to that. In fact, we talked about using the agreement to make sure that we hold them to it. So nobody was proposing to loan any money to the developers. So where we ended up with it is the board's direction was we have the money in a budget. We have a special projects budget. Using it to pay for this will mean that it will run into the red. So to me, it makes more sense to do a budget mod now because we know it's going to go into the red. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. The board is unified on holding the developers to the development agreement to make sure that they pay their money that they have to pay. The development agreement is $10 million that they put up for the project, and then also the financing. They will secure the financing for the project, and then they'll get a return on the investment. So this has been 4 years in the making, and anybody who hasn't worked in Indian country knows that 4 years is not unusual to get approval by the BIA. And so some of the private developers are a little skittish right now because they're like, what's happening? It's been 4 years. But we believe that we're very close in getting approval with the Interior Department.
Okay, I guess the part that was really alarming was that, it said a loan and it said $500,000 and it said revolving fund. And that's what
John.
caught my...
So I think part of it might have been my misunderstanding, that it wasn't a loan. The idea was to take the funds and make it available to the gaming authority so that as a revolving fund, so that the gaming authority would be in a position to pay these bills with our contractors as they came due, rather than waiting for the contractor to give us the money. And the contractor thus far has always come through even when they've fallen behind. We want to make sure that we have a good working relationship with our team that's advancing this for us. And the way the contract was set up originally, we didn't want the developer to hire the lawyers. We wanted the tribe to hire the lawyers so that we control the litigation and the tribe controls the project. And so that's the point of it, was just to make sure that we're in a position to get our obligations paid. This is not a loan to the developer. It doesn't let the developer off the hook. In fact, it increases the think it increases the pressure on them to meet their obligations to us. That we need to turn around and make sure we're taking care of our contractors who are really carrying this project down for us. So I think the fact that the money was being advanced to the gaming authority is what made it look like a loan. It wasn't. It's not a loan to the developer. This was just trying to set it up so that we can make sure we're in a position to deal with our obligations here, and then we turn around and hold the developer accountable as we have so far for the 4.5 years. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I guess just the wording on that whole thing was
That's why we pulled it.
Well, and I have to take some of the responsibility for it, I think, is that I thought it was, well, the gaming authority and the gaming expansion committee had requested. I think I perhaps misunderstood it. I drafted it up and put it on the agenda, but I think it was misunderstood by some of the community. But that's really the only intent, was just to make sure that the tribe is in a position to take care of its obligations right away and not be held hostage to this. And we continue to go after the developer who's obligated. We have a contractual obligation to pick up all of the expenses of this project.
Okay. And I just wanted to ask if any further action on this is going to be done in open session.
I can speak to that. I think that resolution is there is no present intention to bring that back. We'll figure out a better way to handle this. As I said, there's not going to be any loans to the developer. Back in the direction is to continue to put pressure on the developer to make sure they are in fact meeting the commitments that they made to the tribe in the turnkey agreements.
Yep. Okay. So I want that happens.
Okay, Betty, last one.
I think it's a storm totally defeated the tribal kingdom here. Really does. My first question is, I'd like to have an update on that audit that I requested between the glass company and with the purchasing bidding department. What's the status on that?
So Bill is being talked to right now. This is a question for him. I think it was reviewed whether or not construction could take it over, and I think the report was that they couldn't. Denny?
Yeah, the audit committee got that, and we're supposed to get a report back this month on the next audit committee, this month. The guy, the auditor, we had to do it, was involved in everybody's taxes, and he had to put it off until after that was done. It'll be at our next meeting.
Meanwhile, the money's going out the back door. That's what I want to stop. Those $6,000 walking out the back door of the tribe. That's just a slow boat. My next question is, can you please explain the tax exempt status on tribal board of directors? I mean, I know that you're probably getting like 17.5% up to 35%. I'm jealous. We deserve that. What makes you guys so special?
So the number was set in 2000 based on our involvement with the consent decree. There was a time study done in 2000 based on the work that we were doing then. And it has not been updated since 2000. The board's exemption for their work on treaty rights implementation is 17.5% based on that time study. The chairman's time study showed 25% because the chairperson also manages the budgets and is a representative to Cora. I know that after I left office, a couple of people got jacked up to, I think, 20 or 25%. I'm not sure why that happened, but I think it's been changed since then. And the board, I think, nobody is at, I think 17.5% is the maximum everybody else is at, the entire council, and the chairperson's at 25%. So we probably need a new time study to evaluate what the justified amount is. But we're going into 2020 now, so maybe we will have the opportunity to earn 17.5%.
All right. Can I say one more thing, please? remind everybody of the fundraiser for Travis and Turner on the 8th, one of the homies. So, hoping might be one will be there.
Can you get a flyer to me and we'll get it posted?
I will get a flyer now because
I have one at home.
I just wanna.
We
I have
have,
one on my phone.
I've got some.
There, I know there's a flyer posted in Moncort's wall.
I mean, we'll get it on the internet.
I think Lana sent it to us.
Okay, good.
Lana sent it.
I'm just hoping to see community come and support this young man.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
the
you.
best thing to do is just hit share. And, everybody can share it, it's out there.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to open the meeting. It is April 5th, 2016, and I think it is, what time is it? 6:15. And we will start with our attendance roll call.
Darcy?
Here.
DJ?
Here.
Jennifer?
Here.
Denise?
She's here.
She ran to the restroom. Kathy? Here. Keith?
Here.
Lana?
Here.
Denny?
He's here.
Denny? Kim? Bridget?
Here.
Catherine? Catherine is in Chicago at an EPA meeting on travel business, and Aaron.
Here. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to excuse Catherine.
So moved. Second.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Anyone opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Okay, on the agenda tonight is...
Is there an abstention comment?
I don't think there's any abstentions.
Okay.
Amending Chapter 34, Personal Protection Orders, Injunctions. Long-Range Transportation Plan Inventory Update. Authorization right-of-way, St. Ignace Housing Roads. Trust land lease for Shell, Santiago, Scott, and then we have lease cancellations for B. Suggett, MD Suggett, Willis, and also another trust land lease for Willis. And then we have introductory resolutions, policy changes for introductory period, termination policies, and under budgets we have Great Lakes Restoration Initiative Quality System Funding, Great Lakes Restoration Capacity Funding, Manistee Community Marquette Health Centers, and a key employee request and committee requests. With that, what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. All right, we start out with amending Chapter 34, Personal Protection Orders and Injunctions.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors amends Tribal Code Chapter 34, Personal Protection Orders and Injunctions at Section 34.102, jurisdiction by deleting the current language as set forth above and replacing it with the following. 34.102 jurisdiction. The tribal court shall have full jurisdiction to issue and enforce personal protection orders and injunctions as provided in this chapter involving any person in matters arising anywhere in the Indian country of the Indian tribe or otherwise within the authority of the Indian tribe. Section 18 USC 2265E. Second.
Hold on, what's the pleasure of the board?
We already did.
Oh, you got it? Yep. Wow.
So I'm filling in for Tribal Judge Fabry on this one. This proposes to change the tribal code governing personal protection orders and injunctions. The way the code is currently set up, it's unduly restrictive of the tribe's sovereignty. Currently, the court only has jurisdiction to hear cases where at least one of the parties is a resident within the tribe's Indian country. This change would expand the jurisdiction so that the court would have authority to issue and enforce personal protection orders or injunctions involving any person for matters that arise anywhere in Indian country. So, for example, if an incident took place in a place of employment, at the casino, involving an employee or the admin building or any of the tribe's trust or reservation properties, the court would have jurisdiction. Currently, we have to send those people out to state court system to get protective orders, and I think that's an undue burden on tribal members. This would repair that and make certain that the court has jurisdiction to issue these orders, and then full faith and credit would assure that they're enforced outside the tribe as well.
Okay, we reviewed this today, and actually previous to today. And was there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Doesn't it seem like it's too hot in here now?
Yes. No, it's warm.
No.
It was cold, now it's hot. I'm gonna go to sleep.
What number was that, Eric?
It was 78. Now we will go to 79. And we are on Travel Transportation Program Long Range Transportation Plan and Inventory Update.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby request that the Bureau of Indian Affairs add and update the roads listed in Attachment A to the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians Tribal Transportation Program Inventory, and which is hereby incorporated by reference as it fully set forth herein as part of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Long Range Transportation Plan. Be it further resolved that the chairman or his designee is authorized and directed to execute and deliver such agreements, documents, or instruments to the Bureau of Indian Affairs as may be required or to take any and all such action which may be necessary to implement the foregoing and update the Tribal Long Range Transportation Plan approved by Resolution Number 2010-278.
Motion approved.
Second.
PJ, Jennifer. Christine.
Christine McPherson, Executive Director of the Tribe. I'm here on behalf of Wendy Hoffman, who is our Transportation Specialist. She did a presentation to the Board of Directors this afternoon and presented our inventory list. And this inventory list is a list of all of our roads and connections that the tribe owns that would be covered under the federal program. This requirement is due once a year to the Bureau of Indian Affairs, who will review this plan and our inventory and approve it, and we'll receive approval around mid-September. What this allows us to do is to spend federal dollars to improve our roads. And the only way we can do that is have these roads on the inventory. It's updated once a year because there's new roads that are added, new areas that we, throughout the year that we may need to add to it. So this is a process that Wendy puts a lot of time in adding this to each of the areas. This covers our 7-county service area.
Okay, are there any questions from the board? One thing I just wanted to acknowledge, and I asked Wendy to provide a copy to the board, is since she's been working on this, she has a spreadsheet that shows where we were about 5 years ago, where we're at now, where we're going to be 5 years from now. And based on going out and doing the inventory, she's actually increased her revenue from the transportation by about 45%. So she's significantly raising revenue. So, okay. If there's no other questions or comments, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Thank you. Authorization of right-of-way across travel trust land, St. Ignace Housing Roads.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the granting of a right-of-way to the United States Bureau of Indian Affairs for no monetary consideration due to the overall benefits to the tribe and its members derived from the local improvement across the following described property. Read the description or?
Without objection, we'll waive the description.
Motion to approve.
No.
She missed the bottom
Oh, the
part.
bottom
Be it
part.
further resolved.
Oh, sorry. Be it further resolved, should the United States Bureau of Indian Affairs decide to abandon the right-of-way will automatically revert back to the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians, and the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians Board of Directors hereby approves and grant a right-of-way and authorizes its chairperson and treasurer to execute any documentation required concerning this grant of right-of-way for and on behalf of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians. Motion.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and second. All in, okay, go ahead, Brenda.
I'm Brenda Jeffries, Tribe Real Estate. Actually, Ms. Holland has requested this, transportation specialist from the tribe, so we can grant the right of way, and she can, with the had the road project F646918 singing this housing roads project through PIA.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that? DJ?
If this is approved, it goes right to the BIA, right? For them to we send this to the BIA once we approve it?
Yes.
For them, okay.
Okay, anybody else? No? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Okay. Let's see, what's the next one here? Trust land lease shell.
Resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby authorizes its tribal chairman and treasurer to execute a lease to the land located at Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to Deborah Lee Shell, a single woman, and land being described as follows: parcel 45.
Motion to approve?
There's a motion and second.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brenda.
Genders.
What else, Brenda?
Okay, the tribal member has met the requirements through the Sioux Tribe Housing Authority program that she was involved with, and they're wishing to convey the property to her for a long-term residential land lease. This resolution outlines that.
Anybody have any questions? Nope. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Next is Trust Land Lease Santiago.
Resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby authorized its tribal chairman and treasurer to execute a lease to the land located at Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to Jessica Sanago, a single woman, in land being described as follows.
Motion. Second. There's a motion and second. Okay, Brenda?
And this is the same situation. Ms. Santino has met all of the requirements, and the housing authority wishes to convey the property to her using a long-term residential lease.
Anybody have any questions on that? No? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Abstain? Opposed? Motion carries. Trust Land Lease Scott.
Resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby authorizes its tribal chairman and treasurer to execute a lease to the land located at Kinchelo, Michigan to Richard L. Scott and Julie A. Scott, husband and wife, being described as... Motion to approve.
Second. What, did they make a mistake?
Okay, we have a motion and support. Brenda?
Okay, this is, you'll see a lease cancellation that actually goes with this as well. We have a tribal member who wants to cancel her lease because she has sold her property is in the process of selling her property to other tribal members. So we need to do the cancellation, and we need to authorize residential land lease to the new owners.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? DJ?
Do we have the new land lease for the new owners? Is that the first ones, or
Yes, there is farther down.
farther down? Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure we don't cancel the lease and then not approve the other one.
Okay, any other questions?
Possible.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. We have a whole lot of them are coming up, right? So trust land lease shell.
No.
No.
We're on cancellations now.
Wow, you guys move fast.
Yeah. We're on Suggit. It's gonna storm.
Suggit land lease cancellation.
Resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby authorize its tribal chairperson and treasurer to execute this lease cancellation and land being described as. Be it further resolved that the tribal staff is directed to prepare the appropriate lease cancellation documents. Be it further resolved, the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby request the Bureau of Indian Affairs to cancel lease number DD0058 pursuant to applicable law and regulations. Motion.
With a motion and support, Brenda.
And allow the chairman and the treasurer to sign this cancellation so that tribal member can enter into a new auction residential land lease.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. When do you need signatures?
And I draft all of this stuff up.
So like Monday? You thinking Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sounds good to me. Lease cancellation to Michael A. Suggett and Darlene A. Suggett.
Resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby authorizes its tribal chairperson and treasurer to execute this lease cancellation in land being described as, be it further resolved that the tribal staff is directed to prepare the appropriate lease cancellation documents. Be it further resolved, the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby request the Bureau of Indian Affairs to cancel lease number DD0067 parentheses 04 pursuant to applicable law and regulations.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Brenda? DJ? You were second.
DJ and who?
Somebody over here.
I thought it was Denise. I thought it was Denise.
Oh, Kim.
Kim.
Ooh, ventriloquist.
And this is the same situation, we need to cancel the lease so we can clear the titles and move forward with the transactions.
Okay, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. Lease cancellation to Richard V. Willis III.
Resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby authorize its tribal chairperson and treasurer to execute this lease cancellation in land being described as, be it further resolved that the tribal staff is directed to prepare the appropriate lease cancellation documents. Be it further resolved, the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby request the Bureau of Indian Affairs to cancel lease number BIA lease number 469-23-0038-09 DD-0066 parentheses 04 pursuant to applicable law and regulations. Motion.
Second.
Motion and support. I think we read an extra zero into it, but it's written. Brenda.
Mr. Willis is requesting that we cancel his current lease because he is purchasing the duplex unit that is attached to his current unit, and he needs to combine them into one legal description and one unit to meet the BIA requirements for recording the new lease.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. I apologize, I have a family crisis.
Where are you? Welcome to having kids.
Okay, trust land lease, Willis.
Resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby authorizes its tribal chairman and treasurer to execute a lease to the land located at Kinchelo, Michigan, to Richard V. Willis III, a single man, and land being described as. Motion to approve.
Second. Third.
There was a motion and second. Okay, Brenda, same.
This allows us to complete all the transactions and lease the land to Mr. Willis.
Okay, Denny.
Dumb question. What would have happened if we say no to this? The man's out, right? If we said no to this one because it's later and this person's out, if we just cancel this other one.
It's scary.
I agree.
Okay. All right, so we got the Willis one done?
Thank you.
We got a vote.
Vote on it, yeah.
Oh, all right, so we are now voting on the trust land lease 107, 109 Willis. And there's a motion to support. Any final questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now introductory period policy.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors enacts the proposed revisions to the casino government and enterprise due process policies as attached on page 1 beginning on April 19, 2016.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and support. Brenda.
Brenda Johnson, I'm the HR director, and what you have before you is the introductory period policy. This policy is being amended the following ways. One, to extend any days of absence during the introductory period for that work week, and to reformat it so that it is in the new format as it relates to the due process, and it links into the due process as well. So we did not have it initially in the actual format that we are putting all the policies in now. We wanted to change that. And also, as discussed earlier or last week in the last workshop, it is to extend any day's absence of work while you're on the introductory period.
We make a motion to amend that.
Okay.
Darcy has something.
What is it?
That resolution, we're amending, correct?
Oh, no, we already have a motion and second on the table, unless you have something you want to change.
No.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
That's okay. DJ.
To be clear, this takes the probationary period, and if you get sick for a day, it discounts that day, right? You have to make it up as another day, right? For example, if I'm on 90-day probationary
It
period
extends.
and I'm sick for one day, I get an extra day on my probation, right?
It would extend the probation.
Yeah, I'm a vote no.
That doesn't change our practice, because that has been the practice.
No, but it doesn't change our practice, but to be quite honest, it penalizes you for illness or those type of things.
Well, it's intended to clarify, because the practice has been this way for 10 years, or 20 years. Right. Denise.
I was just gonna say that it has been our practice to do that, and if people that hire new on, and they say prior to taking the job that they would like to take 2 weeks off at a certain time or whatever, and it's during the probationary period, it's always extended it out those extra.
And they do it without pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. All right, next is termination policies.
The next is the actual separation, voluntary and separation involuntary policies that are currently in the team. Oh, I do beg your pardon. I do beg your pardon.
You were doing good.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors enacts the proposed revisions to the casino government and enterprise termination policies as attached on pages 1 and 2 beginning on April 19th, 2016.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and support. Brenda.
Again, Brenda Johnson, HR Director, I do beg your pardon. But this policy that we have in front of you, or this resolution that we have in front of you, would address the separation voluntary and involuntary policies that we have currently in our team manual. It would combine the two policies and call them the termination policies. It would define the requirements to different reasons for the terminations, right? Which would include like a resignation, 3-day no call, no show, failure to return from LOAs, any violations of the policy for cause, it would include those as well. It would allow people to be paid out, team members to be paid out for up to 160 hours of what they have already accrued. Whether they serve the complete 2-week notification or 30-day notification of termination. This would allow them to be paid up to the 160 hours, irregardless.
All right, Bridget and then DJ.
Well, I wasn't here when you guys, I think, talked more in depth about it last week, but I personally have concern about number 3 about paying out the vacation, because I'm concerned that you're going to have people that don't leave the 2 weeks notice that they just come in and decide they're going to quit. And it takes us a month or so to get a new employee on. I think a lot of people stay because they want their vacation payout. And I wish I knew how many more companies actually stuck to this sort of policy. And I wish the casino management was still here, because I'm wondering how this is going to affect them. And I know that they're probably part of the committee, but I've had concerns with this from the get-go, that I think people aren't, I mean, there's a lot of unhappy people working for us right now that they'll just say, hey, I'm going to get my vacation anyway, I'm done tomorrow. And it's going to take us too long to replace them, for one thing, so. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, DJ.
Couple of things. I firmly believe that your vacation is in your income. Okay, but I think you have to. I mean, I'm not sold on the 160, even though that is the cash out limit right now. But I can live with that, I guess, if the managers are happy with that. That's what they feel is financially feasible. Now, I guess the one thing I do have an issue with is the name of the policy. It's not exactly user-friendly. It's basically it's a termination policy. It's, at least separation policy sounded like a nice way of doing it. And we don't necessarily, we talk about the termination policy, but yet we don't talk about the retention policy. So to me, I mean, I prefer the old one.
Termination policy to separation policy.
I'll ask that without objection. Change it to separation policy.
That's what it was before, I thought.
Aaron, could you repeat?
Yeah, to change the termination policy heading to separation policy.
Wasn't that's what it was before.
Well, the policy is different though. We clarified the policy. So, okay, there's no objection.
That's in the whole.
Any other questions or comments on the substance?
Just a question, procedural question. So that will reflect throughout the policy change?
That's a good point. So I'll ask without objection that wherever the term termination policy, and it will now be reflected as separation policy. No objection. Any final questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries.
So only one opposition?
Yep. Alrighty, we are now on Great Lakes Quality Systems Funding.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of a FY 2017 budget for GLRI Quality System Funding with federal monies of $65,000. No effect on travel support. Second.
We have a motion and support. This was reviewed today. And, without objection, I'll explain it. It's in my chain. It is basically the EPA is, funding is moving over to the BIA, and so we have to establish a budget under the BIA as the new source of funding. It doesn't really change anything substantively. So are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, roll call.
Lana?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Denny?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Darcy?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thanks. Next up is GLRI capacity funding established FY 2017 budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the establishment of a FY 2017 budget for GLRI capacity funding with federal monies of $80,000, no effect on travel support.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and support. And without objection, I'll explain this one. This one is similar to the other one. It's moving the funding again from EPA to BIA, and it's funding a GIS technician, a portion of the program manager's salary, not an increase.
GLRI.
And for our EPA Great Lakes Restoration. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, vote.
Denny?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Darcy?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yep.
Keith?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Lana?
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next up is Manistee Munising Marquette Health Clinics FY 2016 budget modifications.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the FY 2016 budget modifications to Manistee Health Clinic, Munising Health Clinic, and Marquette Health Clinic for changes to the personnel sheets and reallocation of expenses, no effect on travel support.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and support. Kathy and Darcy.
No, Denise. No, Darcy.
Really? Was it you?
Kathy did a jump.
No, I did say Kathy and Darcy.
Yeah.
Okay. My ears aren't as good as Joanne's, but sometimes I get
What this resolution is, purpose is to establish a additional full-time community health program manager to take over the supervision and management of the Munising and Marquette sites. This position and I guess duties had fallen on one previous current community health program manager, and through a series of meetings and planning purposes with the health staff, this is a recommendation to hire, and I guess with mine also, to hire a additional community health program manager to have a better handle on those clinics and expansion of services.
Okay. Any questions or comments? We will have a roll call vote. Jennifer.
Earlier, when we were having the workshop on this, was it mentioned that there was a plan that was being developed, was going to be presented to the board in the next couple of weeks?
She talked about, I think, the tribal support, I mean, the third-party dollars, additional dollars of the $7 million, and if there was a plan being developed, I've been involved in that planning, but she did say she'll be bringing it to the board.
Will this plan only address that, or is it going to address the entire operations of the health programs that would reflect this change?
It's not related to this change.
What I understood of the $7 million was really to look at services and operations. But in the meeting, after today's discussion, I have sent to all my direct reports to send me all of the organizational charts so I can look at that. It is something the chair and I and the executive team is going to be looking at organizationally, really, the organizational charts of the tribe to come up with a plan on more thorough planning for administration and oversight. Because I didn't realize, in her write-up, she said that the current director supervised 58 employees. Well, no one should be able to supervise 58 employees, so it's something I want to take a look at overall, and how we're structuring positions.
And that's part of my concern as well, which is why, rather than the way I'm thinking right now, instead of approving a piecemeal thing, I'd rather look at the bigger picture first. We've gone a long time, and unfortunately it's a burden for someone, but I'd rather look at the big picture and do it right.
Lana.
I thought we did a consensus today and there wasn't enough support for this.
It's on the agenda.
Okay, and I agree with that.
I strongly support it. I don't think there's any valid reasons.
I just wanted to recognize that we're not consistent as usual, and last week when I want something to stay on the agenda, the consensus says take it off, so it's taken off, and then the consensus today was for this not to stay, and it's here, so I just get a little confused. I'll vote my way, but I don't understand that.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, without objection, there's a question or comment from the audience.
This is a good thing for the tribal members outside this area. Why wouldn't we support this?
We hadn't workshopped.
Hadn't workshopped it?
We workshopped it today, thoroughly.
Workshopped it today, and if it's good and it's good for the tribal members up there, then look out for the tribal members. That's what you're here for.
Thank you. All right, without objection, we'll have a roll call vote.
Darcy.
Yes.
DJ.
Abstain.
Jennifer.
No.
Denise.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Keith.
Yes.
Lana.
No.
Denny.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Bridget.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
It failed.
6. Motion denied.
Okay, next up is key employee, and we'll have Christine. Don't go anywhere.
I have interviewed for a education director. for this tribe. This is really a position that is critical, I think, for our youth, our children, and our adults. And we had this position historically, but over time it's been have been assigned other duties, etc. So we received a grant to establish this position, and we're really thrilled at this point, and we feel it will be self-sustaining after we get the position on, but it will be providing oversight to our education program, our YEA program, our cultural division, and so I'm pretty excited about it. And I'm recommending to the board to make a motion to take the committee interview panel's recommendation and approve hiring of an education director.
So moved. Second.
Motion and support. Any questions or comments for Christine? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain?
1, 2, 3.
Motion carries.
I've got 1, 2,
Wait a minute, did it?
3.
10, 11, yes, it just barely passed.
Okay, so that would be, yeah.
Okay, now we have committee requests. It was
Elders.
7 to 3. Yes, the no votes were,
No, it was abstains.
oh,
Bridget, Lana, and Kim.
3, those end up being no votes because it's not towards the approving.
No, they're not.
We need 7
I would've
votes.
said no, I would've
Actually,
said
they do. In Robert's Rules of Order, they end up being no votes because you need an affirmative vote to approve something. You need 7 votes for it to be approved. It doesn't matter because we had the 7 votes. The people who abstain can abstain if they want. It doesn't lend anything to the approval or denial. So, all right. We had 7 votes.
That's all I wanted to clarify.
Huh?
That's all I wanted to clarify.
We do. All right. Okay. Committee requests.
Unit 1 Elders, reappoint Teresa Little to the Elder Advisory Committee as representative from Unit 1. Teresa did submit to be reappointed to the Elder Advisory Committee in September 2015, but was reappointed to the Unit 1 subcommittee by mistake. Teresa has continued to represent Unit 1 at the Elder Advisory Committee. The appointment to the EAC will be until Teresa's appointment on the Elder Subcommittee expires, which will be September 2019.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and support. These are routine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries.
Unit 2, accept the resignation of Tom McLeod and Shirley Braun from the Hassel Elder Subcommittee, effective immediately. These 2 vacancies will be posted for 2 months. Motion.
Second?
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Thanks, guys.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Is that all the committee requests? Do we have no committee requests?
That's it.
Wasn't that election committee? No.
Oh, I did this afternoon, give you, no, we can wait on that.
okay, sorry.
Well, that one that I forgot to ask you guys to add that to
What is it?
the election committee one this afternoon.
Is there to fill a vacancy?
Yes, because there were so many.
I'll ask without objection that we suspend the rules to add that item to the agenda.
I gave it to you guys this afternoon with, your copies, because there's so many.
No, it's okay. There's no objection. So, all right. So, there's a vacancy on election committee, and there's a person who submitted the paperwork.
Right.
And what's the name?
Wendy Hoffman.
Wendy Hoffman?
Yes.
Okay. So we have the letters. I think you're looking at them right now, Bridget?
Yep.
Okay. So is there a motion and support to appoint Wendy Hoffman to the election committee?
Second.
Motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries.
Yep.
We had a motion to reconsider, I think, coming on the clinics. Is there a motion to reconsider?
I got a request to reconsider my vote.
On the
Okay.
clinics.
Do we need a second on the
What
motion
is,
to reconsider?
Yes.
Can you repeat?
Yeah, he made a motion to reconsider on the clinics. Is there a second?
It's not a prevailing side if he abstains?
You can just
He abstained.
He said you can do it.
Wait a minute. John, I need a parliamentary advisory. So
He abstained.
he abstained, but I believe that it failed for lack of support. So I believe an abstention is tantamount to a no, because it's not a yes vote. It counts in the negative, according to Robert's Rules of Order.
Request, which you can grant without objection.
No, whoever makes the motion to reconsider has to be on the prevailing side. I do think you're on the prevailing side, but we're just double checking.
Point of order?
Yes.
It's prevailing side, so you can only make that motion for the prevailing side. The prevailing side did not vote down. So I don't know how you... Well, it didn't vote it down, it died for lack of enough support.
It failed. That wins.
So I don't know, I'm just a question I'm asking. I don't know how that works. I want to pass anyhow, but I'm just saying that...
Oh, technically you might be right. So the approve, even though, well, yeah, because the prevailing's the 6, not the votes that caused it to fail.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So you have to be one of the
3.
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense either. So that's why John asked us. I don't understand what you're saying.
No, if it's one of the 3, then he is on the prevailing side.
Yes.
Because that didn't win either.
Yeah, because the yes votes didn't prevail.
Yeah, they didn't win.
So DJ is on the, so we're just double checking, because I think an abstention is tantamount to a no vote.
So you can do it without objection.
No, I can't do it. It has to come from somebody who voted. I never voted. I would vote for it, but I never voted.
So what the code says is that only a board member who voted on the prevailing side can make a motion to reconsider. That's not further defined, and therefore, in my view, it falls to the parliamentarian to make the call.
Okay.
That's what that means.
Just as a point of information, it was a request.
The prevailing side, in this instance, would be the no votes.
Yeah.
But there was no votes.
There were 3 no votes. So my ruling is going to be, and my
Intriguing here is that the no votes failed to prevail only because of the construction that a positive majority is required.
So the no votes were the prevailing, but they were the prevailing because the motion in the affirmative was not approved. And my understanding of Robert's Rules of Order is an abstention is not counted towards approval, it's counted towards the negative. And so I'm going to rule that the abstention is in the prevailing side because it didn't lend towards the approval. And so his motion is in order. And there was a second.
Okay, who
was the second?
Who was the second? Kim? Okay, so DJ and Kim.
And I'm sorry, can you read off the vote, the first vote?
Yeah, the yes votes were Darcy Morrow, Denise Chase, Kathy Abramson, Keith Massaway, Danny McKelvey, Kim Gravel. The no votes were Jennifer McLeod, Lana Cosley, Bridget Sorensen, and the abstention was DJ.
So we're saying his abstention was the prevailing side.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Robert's Rules of Order. And we have a parliamentary meeting code that defaults to Robert's Rules of Order. Okay, so it's back on the floor. Is there any discussion?
That's the motion that has to be a motion to reconsider first.
You're right.
We have to have that vote.
We're having a roll call on the motion to reconsider.
Well, I want to pass. You don't.
Wow.
Okay, this is motion to reconsider. Bridget?
No.
Lana?
No.
DJ?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Darcy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Jennifer?
No.
Denise?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Denny?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, roll call on the final vote.
Okay.
essentially a revote, nothing's changed.
So I am going to use again the same people on that revote, Kathy and Darcy then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's from the original motion.
Okay, let me go back let me just write this up here so I know what this. Lana. Kathy.
Yes.
DJ.
Yes.
Keith.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Denny.
Yes.
Denise.
Yes.
Bridget.
No.
Darcy.
Yes.
Jennifer.
Abstain.
Motion carries.
Motion carries.
Okay,
That is resolution 2016.
Motion to adjourn.
is there support? Motion and support? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
92.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Have a good night.